Black Friday sales in full effect. If you want your brand, your business, or your song promoted, hit me up right now to find out how you can get it done for just $49. The email is ogod@hiphopun.com. That's ogod@hiphopun.com. That's coming. But I want to start off with the NBA Youngboy.
Yeah.
Like I said, he was doing an interview with Complex, and he pretty much admitted that he's a part of a demonic music industry. I'm gonna play it and we'll break it down.
It's a demonic industry that I chose to be a part of. So it's like I accept that I run with it, but don't be a dominant at the same time. You gotta understand they're using me as entertainment, and this shit becomes self-destruction too. Cause I ain't no entertainment. You know, some shit can be spoke on. Why? Man, that shit is to be continued.
What do you think? He has some real powerful stuff in that little part of the interview with
Yeah.
Complex. What's your thoughts on hearing that from NBA Youngboy?
One, I think he definitely struggles with superstardom. See, a lot of people, especially when you like music, you get into the entertainment industry, you have to understand that you're giving your everything
Right.
to that. It's not just about you creating music and creating art and just allowing people to accept that art and then that's it. No, there's far more that goes into that. And those who don't want that other side have no choice but to get forced into it. And that dude does something different to their brain. And I think looking at NBA YoungBoy throughout his time, I think he definitely loves and appreciates his fans.
Right.
I think he loves doing music, but I don't think he loves the entertainment NBA YoungBoy brand side of it. I think that kind of he seems like a standoffish type dude to begin with. Definitely an introvert. So
Right.
that
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me. When it comes to the industry,
Mm-hmm.
and we were just talking about this a little bit when it came to the whole situation with Bad Boy. I
Yeah.
remember a time in the late 90s, early 2000s, and even closer to the mid 2000s when we had our power labels.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Of course, we got like maybe 2, 3 major labels at this point, but when you had the Bad Boys, you had the Rough Riders, you had
Yeah,
the
man.
Rockefellers, you had the Terror Squad, you remember the days, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a lot of disrespect going on behind those corporate offices and closed doors to women, to artists, you name it. It was a lot of disrespectful and evil stuff going on. I remember close friends of ours taking certain meetings in Atlanta and dealing with certain people and coming back shook to death talking about the Illuminati's real. All this stuff just because of the things that they had to the pedestals they had to get put on, the things they had to kind of endure to make it in this thing called the industry. So I believe it 1,000%. I don't know if it's as crazy as it used to be, but when he says things like this as one of the top artists in the world, don't take it as a grain of salt. He's admitting some things that
Mm-hmm.
he probably didn't understand was even going on early on in his career, and now really seeing it for what it is. And what other word is there but demonic? It's just as demonic as it gets.
Yeah, I agree. And what I think is that in those companies, like now you have the companies that replaced all the Murder Inc., Rough Riders, Rockefeller. You got these people now, these execs or the people that work for these companies now. I'm sure you got some good people, but I'm sure you got some monsters that work in some of these companies, and people that make you sleep with them, make you, do all types of stuff for the fame and fortune. Let's just say it was a woman, a female, who was a great singer, but she wanted to kind of move up the ladder and do some other things to get a bigger budget or something. The guy that handles that is a guy that might want to, coerce and sleep with her. And she figures, shit, if I don't do this, maybe I'm gonna lose my opportunity. We heard plenty of, record execs, record people, that talked about stories about stuff like that, where they, Master P even said, like, look, somebody told me that they could shut my whole shit down. Like, yo, I'll never get a deal if I don't sign this deal. So you never know the situations that people are in. So that's when I believe when you see, like, the demonic side is, I think, you can go into the spiritual thing. I'm not going to deter you, but on the physical plane, it's that type of stuff. Sleeping with people you don't want to sleep with. Maybe sleeping with the same sex you don't want to. Maybe getting indulging in drugs and just the whole deeper, darker lifestyle, doing stuff you don't want to do for real. And that whole type of lifestyle, I think that people just don't really want to get involved. They just want to make music and have fun, but it's a whole nother level because it's a lot of money involved. So people will die for this. People will kill for this. You got millions of people that want your position. People gonna do some crazy stuff over that. It's a shame, but it's a whole nother world on that level when you talk about the music industry. And it's been rumors, it's been mad rumors for years about a lot of stuff. I don't know, I never been that deep.
Yeah.
But he obviously he has, and he said it.
He said something that was definitely, it stood out to me too. He said, they want me to be an entertainer. I'm not an entertainer. And I really thought about that, right? Because true entertainers, if we look at the entertainers who we appreciate the most, they was in pain, bro. They were in mental pain.
Yeah.
They were in physical pain.
Yeah.
Because it takes a certain and a different kind of animal to be able to entertain the masses day after day after day after day after day and not really take care of you. Not eating right, not sleeping right, not just taking care of your mentals. And some days you may not feel like going out there and doing that. You're fighting against certain chemicals in your body because you
Right.
got to put on this hat and be this entertainer. You look at the Michael Jacksons, you look at the Princes, you look at even like your Stevie Wonders and your Ray Charles and
Right.
James Brown. You go down the line of entertainers. The shit is painful, man. So it's definitely something deeper to it. And man, I would love to kind of get to the ground root of it. I don't even know how we would begin to get there, but
Right.
I think that conversation, getting to the grassroots of this industry, would be incredible.
Yeah, yeah. And I was trying to he also said too, and I was waiting for it to pop up there,
Yeah.
self destruction.
Yep. He
Right?
did. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
he also said that, and it's like that's deep.
Very.
That's deep. And remember, maybe a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago now, but he was talking about he started to worry about his influence on the masses, on children. It started to weigh on him as he gets older and matures and probably gets to see the world for what it really is. Now you can see, okay, you up in the mansion, you sitting well, but I look back in Baton Rouge or Memphis, the murder rate is bigger than in Memphis right now is bigger than any major city, with the population being like 2 to 3 times smaller. So you start to see, and I'm not, we're not blaming, solely that on NBA Youngboy's music. No, but his music, the type of individuals that spawns, the type of children, that are influenced by that, it could definitely have a negative influence. And he talked about it. So that I think that weighing on you, the money and the girls and the fame, that becomes, minuscule to learning the collateral effect that you having on your people if you really love and care about your people.
Yeah. And when you look at the things, because he ain't no saint, right? And
Right.
he's done some things in his life that I'm sure he wish he hasn't done, or maybe he does, maybe he didn't, but he knew it wasn't right.
Right.
What record was he listening to when he was doing that? Well, what hyped him up? What motivated him? And he's looking at now the influence that he has on somebody else, knowing that maybe what he was doing. It all comes with age, comes with reflection. Once you start growing up a little bit and seeing the world
Yeah.
for what it is on a wider scope, accountability starts setting in, and I think that he's starting to kind of some of that
You
accountability.
got kids
starting to
now, you
set
know what I
in,
mean?
feel
Like
me?
it's like, yeah, you start to see him grow up, and
Right.
it's a little different.
Exactly.
Let's talk about Fetty Wap, because Fetty Wap was hit with a FBI sentence of about 5 years, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
for peddling drugs over New Jersey. But he had an introspect moment where he talked about the reason for him actually moving over to drugs after having so much success in the industry. Sandman has that for us.
Yes, sir. He did an exclusive interview with Double XL, and he went into his desire to help his family when the music dwindled. Now, he said he expressed that his fans had stopped purchasing his music, so he turned to the life he once knew. He admitted that he was a coward for being scared of looking like he fell off, supporting his family, and negating the narrative surrounding his music career led him back to drug trafficking. Quote, Fetty, he said, a lot of people don't say it to my face, but I hear the rumors like, oh, he dumb as hell, he had the world in his hands and all this other shit, but people don't understand the shit I was going through with this music shit. And like I always say, I never fought no labels. I didn't fight 300. I didn't fight RGF. I signed them contracts. Will Maxwell signed them contracts. He went on to say, when I put myself in that situation, I ain't really think for the long run. I'm thinking I could just run up a few $1,000,000 and I'm good. I'll be good forever. I ain't never had no financial guidance and a person to really guide me the right way. I just, like everybody, didn't care. I just looked at it like everybody didn't care. As long as I got their money, they didn't give a fuck.
Man.
He delved into how his initial profile as an artist led him to believe others' hustle will go unnoticed. He said, and this will be the last thing before we go in, he said, it was like, I'm being honest with myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, the music wasn't really doing that good. I'm putting out music, but nobody's paying attention. So I'm gonna go back to what I know and what I do. Instead of pursuing my career harder or going harder to make people listen, I was a coward. If I'm falling off, fuck it. I ain't gonna look like it. I was a coward for that.
Man. And you know what, man? I respect that. I respect it 100% that he's man enough to admit that, because on the outside we sitting back thinking, like, I was just saying, this dude had like 7, 8 hits in a row. But one thing you got to understand about money and taxes and expenses and things like that, and having he ain't getting all, he got managers he got to pay and different things like that. It's how you save it and invest it. You can make a lot of money doing something, but if you spending it, eventually it's gonna go. And that's what I think happened to him. Certain times in life you get a lot of bread and you don't ever think it's gonna end.
Yeah.
Like you rolling, you flowing. I'm Fetty Wap. I got this hit, this hit, this hit. I'm about to make 100 million, 20 million. I'm never gonna stop making this money.
Yeah.
Instead of, and I never had no financial advisor. I'm learning hard like everybody else did, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead of somebody saying, all right, you know what? You made, let's say, a million. Let's put 700 or 500 to the side in this little annuity trust, whatever the shit's called. You know what I mean? And just live off of this. Put this away. Put this away. Put this away. You have many athletes that, talked about people putting shit away, having that advisor that's like, just put this away, put this away, put this away.
Mm-hmm.
When a hard time comes, you got $10 million to fall back on.
Right.
We don't necessarily have that. And it goes to speak to the that should be like in hip hop, like in the NFL. I know they have these different, programs and things where people, they assign somebody to you or whatever that's gonna help with your finances. You get an accountant, you get a lawyer, you get all this stuff, and you ain't gotta follow the advice, obviously, but
Right.
they give it to you. They have the structure. Hip hop don't really have that, and the label should be ashamed of themselves for not having that, in place. But that's what I feel about it. Though I want to hear what you got to say, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on the other side because I definitely I applaud him. I respect him. I think he's gonna be good once he gets out of prison. Once whether the music is there or not remains to be seen. But I think that the mindset walking out is definitely gonna be better than it was walking in because he's starting to the accountability, like we just alluded to, is starting to set in for Fetty Wap. And I kind of like what I heard. You know what I'm saying? I like that we kind of got that raw honesty because he ain't the only one. Don't get it twisted.
Right.
We heard Fat Joe talk about this a couple months ago, how he fell on hard times.
Right.
These artists aren't doing the things that they portray they're doing to the masses. They're not out here living these lavish lifestyles. And if they are, they're waiting for that next check. They're waiting for that next tour. They're waiting for that next come up to where they could pay their shit, you know what I mean, stay at sea level and make sure that they can go ahead and live this fake ass lifestyle that they live. Now, when you talk about the labels and you talk about, and this is where we got to be careful as artists because he alluded to this as well. He just went and signed it. He just went and did whatever.
Right.
I don't care how cool these people portray themselves to be to you. I don't care how much they talk good about your mom and how much they bring you to dinner with their family. All that's negotiation. Once that paperwork is dropped on the table and you start reading them black and whites and you start seeing the motherfuckers are trying to take absolutely everything from you, don't think that their loyalty and what they're saying on the outside has anything to do when it comes to signing that paperwork. Because what's in that paperwork is stone. And the second you sign it, all that love and shit goes right out the window. Trust and believe that.
Right.
Trust and believe that. So just let that be a lesson learned. This brother still got hits in the club till this day, I'm sure. His run that he had has to continue to make him money. It's making somebody money.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
let that be a lesson. I don't care how broke you are. I don't care how much you need it. Make sure you do the due diligence on having somebody look at that paperwork. And if they tell you something you don't want to hear because you're so invested in the dream and you think this contract is its way out, have the stones and the discipline to go, I got to walk away from this shit. I'm talented enough for the next one because it ain't worth it. Brother had to go back to selling drugs and now he fell even harder.
Yes,
I'm sure that's something he didn't want to do. So let that be a lesson learned.
Nah, man, we had a situation happen to us, man. Where we had, somebody promising us the world. We was gonna get this. We ever get you a contract in 6 months, tops, boom, boom. When we had somebody look over it, their words were they was trying to take everything. But us reading it, no matter how articulate and smart we think we are, that was a whole nother fucking body of language. I just, I had to look at the dictionary all day to understand that contract. This, and this, and this, and it's done like that on purpose because the average Joe is not going to be able to interpret and read it. You're going to have to, give it to somebody who does this for a living, that reads contracts, that goes over this stuff. And they may even send it to a colleague of theirs. You know what, this shit. But they got somebody in the network
Right.
that can look over the contract and say, nah, this is fucked up. This is wrong. Like you said, have enough confidence and faith in yourself that you don't have to settle. Master P was on our program. He talked about, him having like $500 in his pocket and $1 million on the table, but he turned it down because he knew that, look, he had faith in himself. So I want to see Fetty make a full, get back. I think that he can, in this climate, definitely make more hits again, man. But it's just crazy to think that he had to go back to drugs. I still can't fathom that right now after all those hits, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,